right, these are the real ones here. These are the real ones. And a couple of Christmas sweaters. Gotta come up with a Christmas QZ. Yeah, seems like it's a natural. Why not? Yeah. Yeah. But a good effort by the guys in the second half. The games are hard. And when I say these games, really I'm talking about just the proximity to a holiday or a break that these guys have anticipated. I mean, I think I got the first question. As a coach, you're go to day. I mean, hour to hour sometimes, but certainly day to day. And it was a month ago, someone brings what Christmas break is going to look across my desk. And I'm like, can we get to December before we start trying to talk about Christmas break? But I say that because these guys have been anticipating and planning and all these things. And so when you get on the eve of them leaving, they got a lot of things that they're trying to juggle and deal with. And I just thought we were a little disjointed and our focus, we were not in full and clear focus in the first half. And then in the second half, we got back together, particularly obviously on the defensive end, that kind of performance on the defensive end. Not that I anticipated it would look like that both halves, but I did think that we had the potential to do a really good job against them defensively just based on what their strengths are and how we play. But overall, when it was all said and done, I wanted to come out with a 1-point smashing victory, and that would have gotten it done for us. And so we did better than that, and we'll feel better about that as we travel. And so, but glad we were able to put it all together in the second half.
Lamont, you mentioned the defense. Did you have to say anything about that at halftime, or did guys pretty much know, here's what we got to do to get back in the game?
Well, both. I mean, both. I think they knew, but I wasn't going to assume that they knew. So, again, we gave up 36 points in the first half. Not that that's some sort of astronomical number, and I don't even know what the points per possession was. But there's just no way it should have been 36. Just the plays that we let up on, the offensive, and we did a good job. They offensive rebound the ball like crazy normally. And I think in the first half we'd only given up 4. They scored 7 points on those 4. But we had to get the defense going. I thought we could do a good job on them defensively, and we just had to decide that we were going to, which is it's a tough way to live life if you're going to decide when you're going to play good defense and when you're not going to play good defense. It's a rough way to go. But we decided in the second half we were going to, so I'd rather have that than the alternative.
You mentioned some of it today being the holiday and the break, but you've had a few slow starts this year, especially at home. What's kind of, is there anything you put your finger on with that, just going into conference play?
I don't know. Here's the funniest thing that you're going to think is because as a coach, I don't really think about the start necessarily or making adjustments to try to get specifically the start to be better. You want it to be better. You have a way of doing certain things. You hope guys do those things early in the game. So, I don't know. We haven't played well. We didn't today I think there was some effort stuff, but we also didn't make shots. I thought we did move the ball in the first half. I'm looking at a couple of the shots. 6 or 7. Come on, if you put me out there right now, I'd knock them down, probably. But, making shots always helps. I don't know. I guess I don't make that correlation. It's not part of my own, and somebody else maybe they do. It's not part of my own equation as to say, okay, what does the start look like? Can we make an adjustment to get the start to be better versus here's what was not happening in the first half, right? We were out to lunch. Like, how can we concentrate? Why would we not be making these decisions? So anyway, probably didn't even answer your question in a satisfactory manner, but.
With Nick, the 10 for 10 free throws today, I think you said
Yeah.
on Carolina Calls before you worked on his form and whatever, and he was saying you guys were watching some videotape on it. Can you kind of just describe what it was like after the Indiana game and how you guys have made those adjustments?
Yeah, he was, because he got fouled some in the North Florida game, right? I think out of all the times, I think he got 2 or 3 field goals off that they didn't foul him, and then 4 more times that they fouled him, so he shot 8 free throws, and I think made 3 out of those 8 maybe in that first North Florida game. And then as we moved, there were a couple of things, minor things. I think it's hard to do what I call laser surgery on somebody's shot at that point. The games are already being played. I think it's difficult to do something drastic, but there are some small things that I saw in his shot that I thought could help him just have better rhythm, ultimately more confidence, because he would be making more. And so I walked up to him after the game and I said, hey, here's what I think, okay? We got one of 2 things, a couple of tweaks that I think we can make. I said, or you can stick with as is, and we got to rep that thing till there's literally no tomorrow. It's got to be the only thing that you do. I said, I think there's a lower ceiling on that versus making a couple of these changes. Maybe you struggle a little bit early, but I think in the long run, you'll be a better overall free throw shooter. And he believed in it. He was willing to make a change. He was committed to being a better free throw shooter. I also told him, you're going to get to the free throw line a bunch. We're going to throw you the ball. So we videotaped it, watched it with him. We videotaped me, of all people. And then we went frame by frame on a couple of different things through that as to what his rhythm looked like, where his set point was, and how long it was taking him to release the ball once he started his free throw process was really long, really, really long. So we shortened the window, and he didn't have to accept that information and that evaluation to be true. He didn't have to accept that evaluation to be true. And he did, and he's worked hard at it, and so he's shooting the ball really well right now. He's got a lot of belief in it as you see it to start to go in. Here's the thing I evaluate the most with him. Some of his misses are just way better misses, way better. They dance around the rim and then don't go in sometimes, versus some of these other ones that really didn't have a chance to go in.
A dozen games in is probably okay to ask just kind of the progression of Cam Scott up to this point. You're blue chip freshman. Where have you seen the growth? Where have you seen the progress? Where do you need to see him kind of continue to come on going into conference play?
Yeah, I think Cam's making good progress. He's, especially on the defensive end, he's in our last clips. Typically after the game, we'll watch the clips and the edits of the previous game, and there's one in there in the Clemson game where he was ended up getting matched up with Schieffelin, and he's guarding the ball. Schieffelin sets a screen. He switches on to him, takes away the shot, and then he ends up guarding him in the post, which that's easier said than done, especially for a guy who's slight of frame like Cam. It was a great possession, really active, and probably 3 or 4 things in that possession he never would have done even 4 weeks ago. So he's growing a lot as a player. Here's what we did during practices. We got 2 basic teams. 5 or 6 guys are going to play most of the possessions on our normal team, and then 5 guys or so are going to play all the possessions on the scout team, and then you got a few guys that are going to do both. Well, Cam hasn't been getting as many reps at practice just because when that number on that team gets too high, there's more guys and less repetitions. And in full disclosure, Mo gets hardly any reps on that main team. All Mo's come on the scout team. Coincidentally, Mo's been really, really confident. He's on the other team portraying Chase Hunter. And the rules are do whatever you want, just get a shot and make it go in, and you're going to feel good about yourself. And so we've started to get Cam back into some of that too, because I think it's good for him, young guys, just to feel good. I mean, and he did. He had a couple really good days at practice these last couple of days. The first time he's seen the ball go in a bunch was in these last practices. He's not worried about trying to do the right thing or not trying to do the right thing. You go out there and you have, you just have carte blanche on what you want to do as a basketball player. Not that you don't in a real game, but you are trying to, as a young guy, figure it out and how to maneuver within the parameters of what we want to do. But I think that's been good. That those couple practices have been good for him. But he's making really good progress. I'm happy with Cam. He's a great kid. He wants to be good. He takes it serious. He's a good listener, very good listener, and very, very intelligent. He's a really smart basketball player.
Anything else for Coach? Appreciate it.
Happy holidays, everyone.